Hi, welcome to Yoga Stretch Fusion. I'm Jennifer Wagner with Collective Wellness. Today is a floor-only class. We're going to get on the floor and stay on the floor. You'll see a mixture of ballet, Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, a little mixture of everything just tied into one class. Make sure to exercise within your ability. If you experience any difficulty, stop, seek a physician right away. All right, let's get started. Find your space. Get that chair if you need one, and then meet me back here. Hi, welcome back to Yoga Stretch Fusion. This is the floor-only class, but you're welcome to do this in a chair or a bed also, whatever works for you. We're going to start by laying down. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me from the side. Start with elbows down first, and then all the way down. Extend those legs to the floor if you can. Palms facing up, eyes gently closed, as we just kind of center ourselves. Inhale and exhale, leaving all your stress, all your worries at the door. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Opening your eyes, bring yourself into a full body stretch. Arms up over your head, extending through your toes and your fingertips as you reach as far as you can. Stretch. I want you to think about like a little baby when they first wake up and they're just stretching as far as they can. We don't do this enough. We should as adults too. Go ahead and bring your feet out wide, then arms out wide into a star, and then extend beyond those fingertips and toes again for that stretch. Inhale and exhale. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. Relax. Bring your legs back together, arms down by your sides. Bending at your knees, feet are flat. You're going to start with inner thighs activated, knees are straight forward. We're going to start with just a pelvic tilt and release. Pelvic tilt and release. So imagine a glass of water right on the pelvic area, and then when you tip your pelvic bone, then the water should spill over onto your stomach. Again, we'll add on to this in a second. Activating the core. Go ahead and pelvic tilt. Now lift the hips up off the floor. Come to a straight line. So from your knees, hips, shoulders. Support is in the shoulder blades, not in the neck. So lower down slowly, and then pelvic tilt release is the last thing. And then pelvic tilt and back up. Good, and down. Good. Keep it going, up and down. As you're feeling this through the core, so abs and especially through the lower back as you're pushing up, but keeping engaged through the core, get a little tongue tied. Staying engaged through the abs. One more time. And then all the way down. Hands are on your thighs, chin away from your chest, so you should be able to fit a fist in between. You're going to curl up, reach for the knees, and then come back down. Again. Using the abdominals to lift, relax through your neck. Try not to use the head or neck to come up. There you go. And crunch. If you need to, you could always take your hand behind your ear, a little support to the head. Let's do one more time. And down. Now hands are together. You're going to crunch up and then reach to one side. Then arms come up over your head. crunch and reach to the other side. We're going to activate those obliques now. Keep your chin away from your chest so we'll relax the neck. It's very common to use those muscles to lift, but I want you to use these muscles to lift. You can hold your head if you need to with one arm. Get that slight angle. Start feeling those obliques activating. One more time each. Good, release. Full body stretch, little break. Inhale. And exhale. Arms come back down, knees are bent again. We're gonna go into like a tabletop. You're gonna have your feet up off the floor, and then you have your shins, which are parallel with the floor, so they're like a tabletop. So from here, back is against the floor. Try to have that 90-degree angle if you can. You're gonna tap, come back up. Tap the toe to the floor and back up. If you want to challenge yourself, you can bring your tap further away from you. Still working through that core. Feeling those legs start to fire up with it, so we're getting those powerhouse muscles with it. Core is your main part though. You could always reverse this and go the other direction if you need to. You could always take your hands underneath, make an L right along the side of the hips. Good, keep going. Extending further if you want to. One more each. Now, both legs straight up to the sky, point and flex. You can take your hands behind if you need to start with. Good. Okay, hands on the floor. You're going to point, bend, good, extend and flex. Point, bend, extend and flex. Start feeling those legs working. Back is against the floor as much as you can. Okay, now reverse so you have your feet flexed. Bend, point, extend, flex, bend, point, extend. So it's just kind of changing the muscle direction of what's working one side or the other. Good. Last one. And release. Full body stretch. Good job. Deep breath in and exhale. Go ahead and turn towards me onto your side. You're going to have your bottom elbow straight forward so that we're not straining the shoulder. And you're going to place your hand right on, or place your head on your hand. And then your knees are bent, hips are straight up and down. They're perpendicular to the floor. You're going to take your top leg and extend straight out. Start with the toes pointed, and then you're just going to pulse. It's a little movement. Make sure that the leg is straight down. So we're not forward or back. You can have your top hand here for support. So it's a little movement, little pulse. Now flex the foot and little movement. So we're going to feel this through the legs more. Keep breathing. Engage the core. That will help the hips stay in place. Good, now point and flex. Point and flex. So the lift is still small. If you see, I'm not going very high. We're going to build on this. We're going to really feel it in a second. Okay, now point, lift up and down. Lift up and down. We're not touching the floor. If you can avoid it, please do. But if you need to rest in between, you can touch and go right back up. Keeping the toes pointed though. Start to feel that lactic acid building up. That's a good burn. Hover, coming down, hover, flex your foot now. So your toes are pointed straight towards me. And then you lift up and down. You're going to feel that change move. You might even feel it right through here. Now lift with the heel. Toes are turned down. Your foot is still flexed, but we're turning the foot in and down a little bit, turning the hip in, and you're going to start feeling it right to the back side now. Keep going. Now hover. You're going to go forward and back. Keep those hips perpendicular. Try not to let them drop. Okay. Core is activated, so we're not arching to the back. There you go. One more each. You got it. And release. Good job. Bring that knee forward. A little massage to that hip. Stretch it out a little bit. Did good. Now we're to work the inner thigh of the bottom leg. So your bottom leg is extended. You can go ahead and keep the top leg right where it's at. Start with your toes pointed, pulsing up. And again, this leg is straight out. So everything is in that straight line. We're not forward, we're not back. So hopefully you can see that from your angle. Now, foot is flexed, so toes are pointed towards me. Good. Inner thighs are activating by this point. It's a little movement. Good. Keep it up. Okay, now we're going to alternate your point and flex. Still lift from the inner thigh. Lift. Try not to touch the floor if you can. Woo! 3, 2, and 1 rest. Good. Going on to your stomach. So you're going to flip over into your stomach. We're going to go into a hover series before we flip over onto the other side. So onto your stomach, you're going to have your elbows right below the shoulders. And then the one thing I'm going to have you do is have your hands straight forward, palms down. We like to do this very much, but when we do that, everything in through the shoulder rotates in, which we do enough of that on a daily basis. We don't want to exercise that way too. So, and then also we're not cutting off circulation either. So palms down, fingers straight forward, elbows underneath the shoulders, toes under, and then you're going to come up into that straight line. So shoulders, hips, knees. You can lower a knee or two if you need to, but make sure you keep that straight line. So if you see how my booty's not popping up to the sky and activating those hip flexors, we want to stay with the core. So stay with that. Keep breathing. Press the heels back, shoulders back a tiny bit so we're not pushing into the elbows or hands. Keep breathing. Inhale. You got this. Exhale. We're not doing this very long, so just enough to really challenge those muscles without straining the lower back. 3, 2, 1. Coming down with the hips. Toes are pointed. Lift the chest up and out as you slide your shoulder blades down. Feel that through the abs. We're going to come back up. We're going to activate those obliques into a rotation. So toes are back under. Lift yourself back up. This time, rotate through the hips. When you're ready, join in. Keep the rib cage in place, legs in place. It's just through the hips with that rotation, activating the obliques. You can drop your knees if you need to. So you have your options. There you go. Woo! Keep it up, keep it up. Challenge yourself. Can you keep all your knees, both knees off the floor, or do you need to have them on the floor? 3, 2, and center. Good. Coming into seal, so hands right your chest, pushing your chest up to the sky, hips stay down, slide the shoulder blades down. Feel that through the hips and the abdominals. Inhale, exhale. Extend a child's pose, sitting back. So you're shifting your hips back, hands stay right where they're at, arms stay off the mat, and then press your chest down. Feel that through the shoulders, back, hips. Inhale, exhale. Curl yourself up, and then you're going to flip over onto your other side. So I'm going to turn this way so you can see me. And then you're going to lay back down, and we're going to do a workout on the legs again. So you're going to come on down, elbows forward so we're not straining the shoulder, and then resting your hand on your head. You could always have a pillow or something here too if you don't want to hurt your neck. Both knees slightly bent, perpendicular hips, and now extend the leg. Toes are pointed. Oops, actually, keep it low, pulsing. Hand planted in front. So we've got little movements. We're not going very high. Inhale and exhale. Now flex your foot. Toes are pointed straight towards me. Your foot is flexed. Lifting up, small movement. Now alternate point and flex. Point and flex. There you go. Now you're going to probably feel this leg much faster, quicker than the other side, just because these muscles were kind of working as a stabilizer already from the other side, so that's why you're going to feel those legs fire up quicker. Okay, now we're going to point, go up and down. There you go. Up and down. Try not to touch the floor if you can. Just hover and then go right back up, nice and high. Does not have to be all the way up. Just go as high as you're comfortable. Now flex the foot up and down. Good. Now I want you to turn the hip in, toes slightly down, lead with the heel. You're going to feel those glutes firing up. Lead with the heel. Toes are pointed down so your hip is rotated in a little bit. There you go. You got this. This is where the burn really happens. One more. And down. Go ahead and bring that knee in. A little stretch. Little massage. Good. Now, bottom leg is extended. We're going to work through the inner thigh. Toes are pointed, lifting up and down. Make sure that that leg is straight out from the body, that we're not forward or back. And we're using the inner thigh to lift. We're not using the foot to lift. And then try not to let the knee drop and rest on the floor. Go right back up. Flex the foot, toes are pointed towards me. Foot is flexed, lifting up. Again, use the inner thigh. With that flex, that change to the legs, you're going to feel a different challenge. And it's a little different for everyone depending on where your strength and weakness is through that leg. Good. Okay, now alternate point and flex. There you go. Three, 2, and release. Good job. Okay, flip over. Hover series right here. So palms down, elbows underneath, toes underneath. Lift up into that hover. Start with a regular hover and then lower the knee down or two if you need to. Whichever works for you. Inhale. Hold it there. Pull your abdominals up and towards your rib cage. got it. You might be a little shaky, that's okay. That means you've been using those muscles, you're maxing them out. Now we're gonna go right into that rotation. Right into that rotation, activating those obliques so we're not resting in between. Again, knees can come down if you need to. Rib cage stays in place, legs stay in place. It's just through the hips. Turn or twist and drop the hip. Twist and drop the hip. 3, 2, come on, and 1. Good job, and down. Toes are pointed, lifting the chest up and out. Coming down, hands come to the chest, into seal. Pushing up, but keep the hip bones down. Sliding the shoulder blades down. Only go up as far into the seal as you need to or can. You might be here and that's all right, but keep those shoulders away from your ears. Go into as far as you can. Coming down with the chest, bend your knees, toes are pointed towards your head, lift back up, hips stay down. Feel this down the hip flexors and through the quads, so the front of the thighs. Slide the shoulder blades down. If your head and toes can touch, more power to you. If you do this with your kids, then they probably can do it better than ourselves as adults. Good, coming down. Extended child's pose. Shifting your hips back. Keep your hands right where they're at. Shifting your hips back as you press your chest down. Arms staying off the mat. Inhale and exhale. One more breath, extended child's pose. Coming up just a little bit, walk your hands back. We're gonna go into frog, so keep your feet close together, walk your knees out. And if you can, take your knees to the outside of your mat, especially if you have pants on and you have a slick surface. But you're just gonna let those knees slide out if you can, walk them out if you need to, and then shift your hips back, and then you can even come down to your forearms. So this you can go into as far as you'd like. We're really opening up those hips through the groin. Let the knees slide out or walk out, and then shifting your hips back. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. All right, walk your hands back up. Walk your feet in, and then bring yourself into a seated position, facing me, legs out in front. Sitting up nice and tall, go ahead with a point and flex. You can take your hands and place them right behind your hips if you need to for a little bit of support, but relax those shoulders though. Right leg crossed over. Take your left arm, hook it around, lift your knee up towards you, nice and tall, and then turn to your right. And then you can rock side to side if you like. Inhale. Exhale. Now you can stay in this position. This is like the first step of stretching through the hip and the spine, but you can go a little further and you can cradle your leg, where you're taking your elbow inside, your foot inside your elbow, knee inside your other elbow, and then chest is lifted, and then you can rock forward and back, you can cradle, whatever works, you can do both. Chest is still lifted. If you're in first position, that's okay. This might be too much for you. It might be from one side to the other. There you go. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and lift your leg up. Left leg crosses over. Right hand or elbow hooks around. Lift your knee up. Foot comes off the floor as you turn, and then rock side to side. Inhale and exhale. Now you can stay in this position if you like, or if you want to cradle, you can take your foot inside one elbow, knee inside the other, lifting the chest up. And then again, you can rock or cradle, whatever works for you. Try to stay nice and tall if you can, as much as you can. And again, you have the first position as an option. This might be too much for you today, and that's okay. Good. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and release that leg. Butterfly pose, bottoms of your feet together. Grab a hold of your ankles and then just rock side to side. And then center, and then bring those knees up and down. And release. Go ahead and cross those legs comfortably, whatever works for you. Hands resting on your inner thighs or knees. Nice and tall from your tailbone up. Eyes gently closed. You did it. You made it through your workout. You did a great job. This is your time to just kind of relax. Regain strength through your breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. And inhale, reach for the sky. And exhale, push away. Again, inhale. And exhale. One more time. And exhale. And namaste. Thank you so much for coming to my class. I hope you liked it. If you want notifications for my new classes, just click on that little picture there and you get them for free every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you so much for coming. Come back again.